All right, guys. So, hey, I just want to take a second to introduce my guest today. So, I have Brian Pledger with me here today, and I'm super excited. So, his daughter, Addie, it's not Allie, it's Addie, because I already messed that up and I already apologized for that. So, if I didn't, I'm sorry. So, anyways, Addie's over here visiting with us as well. She's kind of in the background. So, so this is Brian Pledger. We grew up together, and you're going to be able to go into that probably more than I will because my memory is horrible back in the day. I forgot to add that on there. Remind me, please, Addie. Please remind me to talk about the fight. Okay, thank you. All right, because seriously, I've not talked to anybody. I've not talked to one person about that really could give me any details. So, all right. So, without further ado, this is Brian.
Hey, thanks, man. I appreciate it.
Yeah, man. No, absolutely. So man, this is really cool for me. I've been talking about this with my wife, with Melinda. So like, I apologize. I didn't formally introduce y'all. I'm so sorry. I do that all the time.
No worries.
And I'll do it here in a second or once we're done or whatever. But I've been talking to Melinda, and my thing is that like my memory is not great. So once I like start interacting with someone again from the past, then stuff slowly starts to come back. So when your mom was here, she talked a little bit about like, you know, when I used to come over there and stuff like that. And I was like, I remember some of that, you know, so that was really cool. Yeah. The thing that sticks out with me the most about your house that you grew up in is your dad's truck. Yeah. You know what I mean? Just because it stood out. It was yellow truck. Like I think everybody wanted his dad's truck just because it looked really cool and it was such a rare color. You know what I mean? So it was really, really cool. So man, I'm excited. I'm definitely excited. So I guess I'll say this because I'll apologize for this, but not more than once because I'm working on this. Is that somebody will tell me something and then I'll forget that they told me it until they tell me again. I'm like, I feel so bad. I should have remembered that. So what are you up to? What do you do for a living now?
So right now, I work for a company in Arlington, Texas, called Rev Engineering. Our division is Rev USA. I'm a production manager / ops manager for the team. So I pretty much run the business day in, day out, work directly with the ownership group. And what we do is we manufacture electrical switchgear. So, easiest way to explain it is what we manufacture is, if you know Tesla, you have the power pole, the charger, then the car, right? Okay. So high voltage comes in off of the pole, goes into the charger, and then it's low voltage so you can charge your car, right? Okay. Our product that we manufacture is basically what the charger does. It's in the middle. It goes from high voltage on one end of the product, and then it transfers over through a series of bus bar, insulators, and so on. And then it basically comes out on the other side as usable energy for like, what primarily what we do is the energy field, data transfers, high speed data, AI centers and stuff like that.
Oh, that's really cool. That's really cool.
It's really neat to see it all done.
Man, like I would love to like kind of see that, like to be honest with you, because that's my thing is that like I've come to realize that I'm a visual learner, and like so that's what kind of brings success into the classroom is because I'm able to paint a picture of what the problem's doing, paint it either with words or paint it with like actually going on the whiteboard and drawing pictures and stuff. Because that's the thing is I remember in school that like you can throw numbers at me and tell me this is a formula all day long, but you lost me. You lost me in the very beginning. Pique my interest and show me what it looks like. And then absolutely I want to learn about it. So talking about like I'm listening to you and everything, and you're talking about how it converts energy, right? So it basically and the way that I can understand it, like you have a lot of energy and then you're trying to get it where it's more of a like a lower form of energy, but it's like a stream, like a steady stream of it. Correct. Okay. So I always think of like, when you think about that, like I think about a converter from back in the day when we used to plug a converter into a car that's got the cigarette lighter and it's got the plug on the other side. So you can plug a fan into it or whatever. So, I mean, I know that it's not that simple, but like, to me, that's how it makes sense to me. So something I've done before. Well, that's cool, man. So it's cool to me because as soon as you said the name of the company, Rev, and that's the company, right? The company's name's Rev. Okay, so it's REV. Okay, I'm gonna look that up later because I'm really excited about it. So, so like this is one of the things that I have on the board, Addie, is to talk about cars. So, so growing up in Hillsboro, Texas, very small town. So back when we were in school, probably closer to 8,000 in population or something like that, if I remember right. I know I only had 70 something kids in my graduating class.
Yeah, I think we had a little over 100.
Okay, so help me out with this so I can kind of get on the right track. So I graduated year 2000, and what year did you graduate?
02.
Okay, because I couldn't remember if you were one grade or two grades.
2 grades.
So okay, so you were in the class with Manny.
Yes.
A break.
Correct.
So that's okay.
Yep.
That's where
Yep.
the ties in. Okay.
Yep.
Okay. I got it. Okay. So cool, man. So yeah. So you graduated at the new school and went to school at the new school.
Correct.
But did you go your freshman year and sophomore year?
Sophomore year.
Sophomore year.
Yep.
Okay. So man, that was different. Like it's so weird for me because I have to not have to. Well, I guess I have to if I want to get paid. But I teach at the junior high, which is where we went to school.
Correct.
Which was high school for a short period of time,
Yep.
and so I guess did you? No, you didn't. That was you. Okay, so I where my mind's going. Did you ever go to the old school, the one that's now?
Yeah, the old school junior high, right?
Yes.
Yeah, it was a junior high when the high school was the high school before it moved up basically from the junior high to the junior high now.
Okay. So were you one of the students that had to carry over furniture from the old one to the new one?
So luckily I wasn't part of that group.
Someone said that on Facebook. I'm like,
Yeah.
they like made kids like, imagine that grow up. We're just like, all right, we're moving buildings. So go down to the old building,
Yep.
carry a desk above your head and bring it back over
Yeah.
here. And you did that probably for a whole period or two.
Yeah, that's how you got your grade today.
Oh my gosh.
Child labor at its
Yeah.
finest.
Like now if you ask a kid, well, I know that now it's like, but like now it's like if I ask a kid, hey, will you help me with something? They automatically say yes. They want to help. They want to move stuff around. So I don't think it would be much of an issue until you tell them, oh, we're carrying it outside.
Yes.
A quarter of a mile, not a quarter of a mile, eighth of a mile, whatever it is. But yeah, wow. Okay.
Yeah.
So man, I've been in that building a few times, like since I've been a teacher, like because Melinda had, keys because she worked at, before she was a teacher, she worked in maintenance and transportation for the school.
Yep.
So she was like the assistant or basically, I know people don't like the word secretary, but like she was the personal assistant to Raymond Norris, who's over the whole thing for transportation and maintenance. So like she'd give me the key. I'd go over there and look around and peek around in the rooms and take like some stuff from my classroom.
Yeah.
So man, I've been in there and it's different, man. As soon as you walk in, the smell hits you and you're like, you remember it.
Yes, for real. Like the lunchroom downstairs. I remember Coach Sanders, his classroom downstairs. He had that catfish in that room. You remember?
Gosh, yes. So I remembered that. I could not have told you anything about Coach Sanders until you said that his room was downstairs.
Yep.
So it was across from the cafeteria, almost directly across from, remember. And if you're coming out of the cafeteria, I think you kind of go to the right to get there, right?
Correct. Yeah.
Man, see, I would never have remembered that.
Yeah.
I would remember him because I always remember he wore shorter than what I'm wearing right now. And his legs would be white.
Yep.
And he had the long socks, because I think he had like leg problems, if I remember right, like something like blood flow problems. So he wore the tall socks, man. Coach Sanders, and then I remember that.
Yeah.
Wow. I think I got in trouble a couple of times in there.
Yeah, I would imagine.
But he was a nice guy. I always liked the coaches.
Yep.
So yeah, wow. Okay, so cars. I went all that to say, wow. I don't even know how I got to that with cars. So, anyways, now I remember now because I was talking about just like being back in school.
Yeah.
So that's where it started, man. Like, and so what was your first car? Like the very first car you had?
So, very first car I had was a pickup truck. It was a 1994 Dodge single cab 1500 truck.
Okay.
It was my dad's truck, and basically he handed it down to me, and it was my baby from day one. I did everything that I could to keep it clean. I put a system in it. And that's something you don't hear a lot of anymore is, people going down the road and jamming anymore. Right. So,
okay. Yeah.
And I'll never forget when I think it was about 2 weeks before I started driving, we had a real bad hailstorm come through. I remember this very vividly. I was in the shower and I heard it hit my parents' roof and I was like, is that hail? And I remember my dad saying, yeah, that's hail and your truck's getting beat. And I ran out with a towel on, shampooing my hair. It was too late. That truck was beat all to get out. So instead of driving at 16 in my truck, I had to wait about 2 months to get it out of Adler's Paint Body that's downtown, or it was downtown. I don't know if it still is, but yeah.
Yeah, no, like, so I think I remember that truck and this is going to kind of validate if I'm remembering it. Yeah. Was it gray?
No, it was maroon.
Maroon. Okay. Yeah. I remember it now.
School color.
No, I remember it now.
Yeah. School
like, as soon as you said it was maroon, I now pictured it now. I don't know why I was thinking an older model, but now it was 94, right?
Yep.
94. So now I'm fine. There's another guy in town that I used to work with way back in the day that had the same kind of truck, but it was a black single cab. So wow. Okay. All right. So you had the truck. So what was after that? What was your next car?
It was the 2001 single cab G, or it was a Chevy truck. It was red.
Okay.
Then after that, I actually got into that Acura that I had.
Okay.
Right. So the Acura came in when Fast and Furious was a thing, and
Yeah.
you know, everybody's burning around. This is before it got silly.
Yes.
You know, we're going to outer space and stuff like
Yes.
that. So yeah. I really enjoyed that. And you know, I remember your car too, that Firehawk that you had.
Yeah.
That thing was amazing. Like,
Yeah.
it was the car, like, I remember you had lights underneath it.
Yeah.
Right. You had yellow ones.
Yep.
I had red underneath
Yeah,
my car.
I remember that.
Yep.
I remember that.
Yeah, it was awesome because you were working at Polo at the time.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yep.
I remember that.
Oh wow. Okay. So
Yeah, way back.
yeah, no. So like that's man. I'm glad that you said that because like you're so weird. You said Hattie's so weird. I'm sorry. Like here I'm like should be like not talking to you like I do in school, calling you goofy because your dad's right here. Like man, I probably shouldn't be talking about you like that.
It's
But you are
okay.
goofy.
She is
It's okay.
goofy. She gets it from me.
No, I get it. 100% get it. So yeah. So like you had a two. So what year was the Acura?
It's an 02.
Okay.
Yeah, it was the first year they put it out.
Okay, that's what I remember.
Yep.
That's what I remember because it was very unique.
Yeah,
like I remember. So I even want to say it showed up in one of the movies that car, and that's kind of like what led it into being popular. And maybe I'm wrong. I think I'm thinking of the Evo.
Yeah, it was the Evo. The Evo was in the second one.
Yeah, that's what it is. The Evo, yeah, because it was like green or yellow.
Yeah, it was
or something.
green. It was like
Yeah.
that greenish, bright, metallic color.
Yeah.
Yep.
So I bought my Trans Am. My 2001 Trans Am was the second to last year before they stopped making Trans Ams.
Correct.
And Firebirds. And I bought it and I paid for it. I can't remember. I think I got it when I worked at Polo. I can't remember, but yeah, I put the lights underneath it, like, and
you had a system in there too.
I did have a system and stuff like that. And it was awesome. So like Melinda knows that that's the car I'm gonna have again before it's all over. Like I just have to get to a point where I can justify it. You know what I mean?
Right. Absolutely.
Finding one that's in decent shape. I mean, it's like 20 grand and it's like
Easy.
20 grand for a 20-something-year-old car.
Exactly.
Man. So like, no, I miss that car a lot, but I remember whenever I got my next car. So I got my next car and it was a Tiburon, a Hyundai Tiburon.
Yep.
And I remember that because you are the reason why I wanted to switch over. You and your car is the reason why I wanted to switch over to an import.
A tuner car.
Yeah, a tuner car. Because so Fast and the Furious came out and I thought it was cool. I remember back in the day, like, because I did a couple small modifications to the Trans Am, the Firehawk, and like just intake and stuff like that, and exhaust, and I mean, I just thought it was so cool for the short period of time that I would race people on Valley Mills and Waco because they would pull up in like a Civic or whatever, and it's like
and just eat them up.
It's not even a contest.
Yeah,
I mean, like, because the thing is, it's not like they had a Civic that was in Fast and the Furious.
Correct.
They had a Civic that they got from their sister that was handed down that they put a spoiler on.
Yeah.
So it was like I'd race them, and it was not even.
It wasn't even a race. Yeah.
So like I my head got big for a while, and then I realized that I was into more of like the import, the tuner type stuff. Yeah. But I wanted something different. I wanted something that no one else had.
Yep.
So I found the car that I wanted. And then before we even picked it up, we had them throw in like the body kit and all that kind of stuff. So it looked like straight out, like getting it first day, like it's, it's made to be one of those kind of cars. So I remember that, man. And
yeah, I remember your system in that car too. You had like 312.
Yeah, I did. Yep. It was, I think it was 310s or 212s.
Yeah, I remember.
It was a
custom
it was
box. Box. Yeah.
It looked kind of like, man, I don't even know the best way to describe that. It looked like 3 fender wells, like kind of welded together, but like it was all made out of fiberglass. It was sanded
and it was painted the same color as the car.
Yeah, it was painted the same color as my car, that silver color. Yep. And I remember it was MA Audio because that's that was
the big thing at that time. Yeah.
And what was his name? Chuck.
Yeah.
Chuck that owned Mild.
Yes, Mild the Wild.
Mild the Wild Custom. So he used to be out of the Dodge dealership before it got sold a long time ago.
And I think he was like Brickyard Customs. I think is what it was.
Yes.
Before.
And then he got a shop out there towards the college over there behind the bingo place.
Yep, it's a church now.
It's a church now. Yep. And it was Mild the Wild Customs. And oh my gosh, the worker that he had there was named Skeeter.
Yes.
I just remembered that. Yeah. Oh my gosh. Like, and all right.
Yeah, you can leave it at that.
If you work at a custom shop, you can't be expected to be the guy that sits behind the desk wearing khakis and a polo or something like that. So like he was into cars, and I get it. I was into cars too.
Yeah.
Like, so I mean, it was really cool. I remember that.
Yeah.
That's where I got a lot of my custom stuff done at.
Yeah.
Just hang. I remember that was kind of like the hangout.
It really was a hangout.
Like, seriously. I mean, we go over there just to hang out with a dude that like basically worked at his own AutoZone. That's basically what it was.
That's really what
like, yeah. And like, we just go over there and hang out and just talk about stuff. And I remember he had magazines and stuff. And he had a Supra.
Yep.
He had one of the last Supras that they made for a long period of time.
97. Yeah, that great.
And man, I don't want to lie, but I never saw any kind of results on this, but I want to say he was pushing over 1,000 horsepower.
It was close.
Like,
I think it was over. I think it at his wheel, it was almost 800.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
So like, I remember one time we left, man, he had it one day and we both got at the interstate at the same time. I had my Trans Am. So he guns it in front of me and I'm like, oh, like he's all talk or whatever. He doesn't have this much power. So I dropped mine down like a couple gears and just almost redlined it. And like, I thought I'm screaming. I'm like holding back like this and he's just dusting me, just taking off like it was nothing. I'm like, what? Like what happened? And it was just so defeating.
Yeah.
That was so defeating.
That's a beautiful car though.
Yeah, I remember that, man. So anyways, wow, we're talking about cars. Okay. So like, yeah, I remember that. I remember it was a really nice, I want to say, man, what color was it?
It was considered pewter. It was more that sandstone color.
Yeah.
That's what it was.
Yeah. Okay.
And then I had gunmetal wheels on it.
Yeah.
And then I nicknamed it the X and I put a big red X on the back window.
Okay.
And everything was red. All the interior lights were red.
I remember.
My undercar lights were red. Yeah. Then I had a system and it was a hatchback, so it sounded really amazing for what I had. So yeah.
Yeah, I remember that. And that was the same thing with my two vehicles, the Trans Am and the Tiburon is the hatchback.
Yeah,
it hits that glass.
It's perfect.
Just,
the acoustics are great.
Yeah, dude, I want it, man, but like I got a family now, so I feel like that I can't be cool.
Yeah.
I want to get a system in my Jeep, but man, like
the
find
Jeep is so terrible. Like honestly, it's so terrible.
Yeah.
Convertible or a Jeep is terrible for Sam.
Yeah. So that's why I don't want to spend a whole bunch of money on it because like I can get an underseat box that's really low profile and stuff like that where you wouldn't even be able to see the subs. But then it's like, for what, man? It's probably not going to sound good. So I don't know. But yeah, man, like I don't think I'll ever grow out of that like car age.
I like it.
Man, yeah, and that's really cool because like you still get to deal in that field, you know what I mean? Like where you're still around like, automotive and stuff like that. So what do you drive now?
So I've got a Ford Expedition now, total dad car. It's
okay.
Yeah, we'll leave it at that. It is.
I get it.
It is what it is, right?
Yeah, I drove a couple dad trucks. Like,
listen, I'm to the point where I want to get a truck.
Yeah.
And again, I want something fast, but I don't want something new.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like my idea would be just to find something that's I would honestly, if I could ever find it, a 72 Nova or Chevelle.
Yeah.
That's what I would want.
Man, but then you're dealing with maintenance.
Well, honestly,
it seems like
to find a good body, it's the same thing.
Yeah.
Now we're looking at a 50-year-old car.
Yeah.
And you're looking at, paying $30,000 for a shell. Like, insane.
Just for that.
Yes.
Just for that. Man. Okay. Hey, Hunter, you come say hi. No,
hey.
Look, high five me. High five, Brian.
Hey, buddy.
All right. What do you want? Hey, one more drink and you can have it. Wait, one more drink. That's what he does. So that's our thing too, is like when we get out of school, sometimes if like he's had a rough day or if maybe we've had, great days or whatever, we just want to go buy QT. And you said you love QT. Like I do too. I truly do. But we always have to get the tea.
Yeah.
And he loves sweet tea. So he gets the big one. I get the big one. And he'll drink his entire one.
And then take yours.
Like 30 minutes. The whole thing will be gone. And then like I'll go to the restroom and he listens. He'll be in his room. You think he's not paying attention. He's doing his own. No, as soon as he hears like the couch kind of move or whatever, or like I put the chair down, the seat thing down, he'll just sneak in here, take my tea, and then run and close his door. And I won't even know because I come back and I just relax until I want to take a drink. And then I'm like, where's my tea?
Yeah.
He takes it, man.
He's a ninja.
Man, he is a ninja. He'll grab people's food off their plate. So that's what we always have to tell people when we go to birthday parties and they got like cake in their lap. I'm like, no,
Don't do that.
Don't do that. And then they just laughed. I remember one of them laughed. They're like, oh no, he won't be like that. And sure enough, he just comes running towards me, just shoving. I'm like, where'd you get that? And then everybody's in the living room just laughing. Like, I told you.
That's it. Even more.
I told you. So yeah, man. So fitness, man, because I feel like that's the elephant in the room. Like, and I don't mean that because you look like an elephant, because you don't. I mean, you're big. Yeah. So fitness, elephant in the room, all that kind of stuff. So I've never been like really into fitness. That's not like kind of my thing. When I say my thing, I can get motivated to have a routine like that. Yeah. Because I feel like that there's so many things in my life that I have to make into a routine that's asking way too much to ask myself to put fitness into that routine. Sure. So, but you obviously do. You clearly do. I've seen like Facebook stuff and pictures and stuff like that in the gym, and like, I mean, your arms are bigger than like every part of my body. So there's that. So yeah, like, what do you do, man? Like, how do you deal with your fitness? What does that look like?
Well, so usually through the week, me and Crystal are up at, about 3:45 in the morning. We get up, get dressed, get ready to go. Usually at our gym, we go to the Burleson Rec Center. They open at 4:30. We're there at 4:30. We get it in 45 minutes to an hour. And then we both get home, get cleaned up, get ready to go back. Right. So, we do a different split for the most part. So we've been doing, I say we've done it 2 times now. It's a program called 75 Hard. It's amazing. Like, honestly, like, it may be something you look into, and it's more of a, for you saying you need a routine, this helps you create that routine. Mm-hmm. It also helps you hold yourself accountable for what you're doing. Right. And it's a super simple thing. And it sounds like a lot, but obviously, if you want to take it serious, you want to see results, it creates more of a mental toughness. It creates that discipline as well. It's a great program. Honestly, like, I've seen very good results. I mean, I've shown Adeline, like, it, start to finish pictures of, day 1 to 75. And it's crazy, but, and it's little adjustments. It's not something that's, you're going to die the first day, and it's simple stuff, and it's just easy stuff to get involved with. But for me, again, it's more like therapy for me. Yeah. It's going in, and if you have a bad day, or if, you just feel frustrated about, anything in general, you just go in there and put your headphones in, find you something that you like, and just pretty much like go beat yourself up, literally, but for results. You know what I mean? As opposed to some people, they turn to alcohol or drugs. Like, this is just as good. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Like, I'm not into either one of those things. Yeah. But what I can say is, like, fitness to me is, again, I hated it when I first started. Yeah. Like, I used to work out with Brad Tucker, and Brad Tucker.
Oh, for real? Yeah.
Yeah. He's the one that motivated me. Yeah. Like, that dude he went from being skinny to being very, very big. And I was like, that's what I want. And I remember the very first time I worked out with him, I was like, okay, I could probably hang with this guy. Nope, not a chance. Yeah. Like, I look dumb. And, I think it's the embarrassment fact of, A, you don't know what's going on. B, you have I would say the false hope of you're going to be able to do exactly what somebody else has been doing for, they've been doing it for a long time. Right. Yeah. But that's anything in life. That's what I try to explain to the kiddos over here is you got to be willing to suck at something to see if you like it. You know what I mean? Yeah. I think that's important. But yeah, Crystal's very strong, believe it or not. Like, she can pretty much bench press more than most teenage boys.
Oh, I imagine.
Yeah.
I imagine.
Yeah.
Wow. So, man, like, now it makes sense. You said like a couple of things that really resonated with me. So, like, whenever you said that you went, and first of all, I love Brad Tucker. I love his son. I love all his kids. I love his wife, everything. But like, definitely I build a different bond with Landon, just because I had him in class and stuff like that. And I still try to keep up with what he's up to. Yep. But no, I'm glad that you said that. So I remember over this last summer, so Coach Gordon, right? Coach Gordon, Coach Gordon, right? So, and Coach Gordon, so he, Chandler Gordon, he power lifts. He still power lifts, and he goes to competitions. And man, I see him on, what does he always post on? Either on TikTok or I think it's on Facebook or something. But anyways, it's on, what's the one Facebook owns?
Instagram?
Insta. Yeah, it's on Instagram. It's on Instagram. He shows him like lifting and stuff. Have you seen any of his videos? So he throws down weight. I'm sure that like you're probably would know exactly like if that's like really, really good or whatever. But no, so I had a chance to go work out with him one day over the summer, and I'd been doing push-ups. Like I think I got to like 20 days in push-ups where I did 100 a day. My upper body was so tight, and that's when I wound up injuring my shoulder because I was doing them the wrong way and I wasn't letting them rest. I wasn't letting my muscles rest. But anyways, I went and worked out with him, and yeah, like so he works out, you know, an hour or two a day. Yes. And like I tried to keep up, and it was like, man, like it's not gonna happen.
Correct.
So I would think that this is a very inspirational like topic to talk about, because I think there's a lot of people like me and like you when you first started working out with Brad, like you were talking to. So I would say this. I guess I have a question for you. So have you had a chance to work out with somebody where you were in a different situation than them? You were the guy that's been working out?
Yeah. So I actually I used to work out with Jake Clayton.
Okay. Yeah.
So Jake was again, we worked together. It just worked. We were good partners. And, you know, when he started, he wasn't the strongest. And I think kind of when we finished up working out, like he was able to, you know, flat bench press 100-pound dumbbells in each hand. Very impressive for Jake's size. Right. So, you know, it's just, again, honestly, like I just love the simple fact of, it don't matter who you are. It don't matter where you come from. Whenever you're there, it's just you and the weights, right? Yeah. And it doesn't, 45 pounds is 45 pounds.
Yeah.
And it's, you know, CT Fletcher says it really, really well, is 225 pounds is 225 pounds. It doesn't matter what color you are, where you come from, how rich you are, it's still going to be as heavy as it is for anybody else. Right. So, you know, I think that's, you know, yeah, some people have better genetics. You know, again, you remember me from school. I graduated, I weighed 165 pounds, right? So I looked like a walking skeleton when I graduated. You know, then now I'm about 270-ish. And again, it's just constant. I mean, it's anything you do in life. If you want to be good at it, you have to work at it.
Yeah.
You have to give it the attention, right? Like podcasting. And for instance, right, when you started, you probably didn't have no idea.
No.
You know, you just started it, and the first ones probably weren't very good.
No,
right?
no, the first thing horrible. I still feel horrible.
Well, and I don't think so. I mean, again, when I watch it, I'm like, hey, editing is amazing. Like, I don't know how to do any of this stuff, right? Like, if I was to do it, I would suck. And that's just the way, again, but it's something that inspires you, and you want to, get your message out. You want to get, you know, just have interesting people on. I don't really think I'm interesting, but absolutely, you know, it is what it is. But
absolutely are.
Your main thing is this is what you like, right? And this is what you're wanting to work for. So, you know, it's not work. You know what I mean? It's more of a reward, right? When you get to take something raw and edit it, and then when it comes together, it's a beautiful final piece of whatever you're making, right?
I wish I could ever feel like that it got to a beautiful piece. Like I'm emotional whenever it's all coming together and I get a chance to watch it, but it's because I get to see like how that person was like enjoying the conversation. Sure. And it's really cool for me. So I want to say this, and this is, and I appreciate it. Thank you so much for saying that. But like, here's my thing. And Coach Gordon, he was very welcoming. He wanted me, you know, he said like, you know, we can go work out again and stuff like that. But I'll say this, one of the things, cause I've tried to do this many times before, go and work out with somebody that does it on a regular basis. Sure. And I'll last 1 or 2 days because I don't feel like I belong. I don't feel like that I belong there. And it's not because the person that I was with wasn't like making me feel that way. Yep. They were probably doing everything, socially to make me feel that way, helping me rack the weights and spotting me and all that stuff. Yeah. But I know now that I need somebody to verbally tell me stuff for me to, like, I don't pick up on social cues as much as other people. So here's what I would say. I would say that from my perspective, I know that it would be great to hear from the person we're looking up to, the person to show us how to start this kind of fitness journey, that like, man, I'm not going to judge you. I will never laugh at you or talk about you behind your back, how you can't lift as much. And this is ridiculous, because I know that you're not that type of person, but like, tell me what your thought is when you're helping that person from day one. What goes through your head?
Well, again, everybody has to start somewhere. You know what I mean? Like that's any path and anything you're doing. And for me, you know, I started there. I know those feelings, right? Just for instance, for you, like you're going and working out with somebody who's very skilled, right? Yeah, you probably don't feel like you belong, but at the same time, if that person that you're working out with is the most genuine person that they could be, then they're going to want to see you win, right? They're going to want to see you succeed. They're going to push you, whether you want to or whether it's uncomfortable. Like Adeline, like I make her go to the gym with me as well.
Yeah.
And here's the deal. It's like, I don't want her to, ever sell herself short. She's very strong. She has the opportunity to be something that, again, she doesn't see herself, but I can see it, right? It's probably the same thing with you and your students, right?
Right.
When you see somebody struggling and you're like, dude, come on, let's just get it, right? And it's just like, that is the main focus, is how do you motivate? And people get motivated different ways. That's just like they learn different ways, right? For instance, I grew up, I had dyslexia. I hated reading. I got made fun of reading. Everybody made fun of me. And you know what? I did not actually physically read a book until I started doing 75 hard. No joke.
Same thing.
And it's because, again, I didn't like it and I never gave it the opportunity. And now I don't mind. Again, if it's something that, again, it has to keep my attention and it has to be something that I'm interested in. Because if it's not, I just might as well put it away.
Man. So first of all, you inspired me, like whenever I can see you're passionate, like, and I'm not saying that I couldn't see it before now. Yeah. I'm just saying that, like, when you spend time with somebody and you physically feel it, sure, like in their voice and their tone and their movements and everything, like I can tell you're very passionate. And man, so like, and is my ADHD kicking in? Cause like, I just not lost my train of thought. But like where I was wanting to go with that is like, you were talking about Addie, right? And you're talking about, you could see it in her. That's what it is. I had to walk my way back to it. So I wanted to say, like, the second I knew that I felt the amount of passion from you was that when you correlated it to like how I can see it in my students, right, even when they can't see it.
Yep.
Like, that's real, girl. Like, so I've never been able to put that into words as well as you just did. Because sometimes people ask me like, how are you able to do what you do and make the connections with kids and stuff like that? And it's like, because like, not only do I love them, but like I can see something in them, correct, that at some point either has been suppressed for some reason, or they just haven't ever been able to see it themselves. Correct. Because we all are kids at some point in time, and we all go through those times where we don't self-love ourselves enough, and yep, we think we're not enough. And it's not necessarily because someone's telling you you're not enough. It's just you have society around, yep, you, and you're trying to be at some level or some style that you just can't feel like you can get there. So man, that was really well put. So Aiden, I had a chance so we've already talked about Addie, yeah, and I did not get a chance to have Addie in class, and you have an amazing teacher. I love Miss Rodriguez to death. But Aiden, I did have a chance to have your son Aiden, yeah, in class. So hold on, I'm trying to remember now. So is Aiden a sophomore?
Yeah.
Okay. Wow. I was good with that. And the only way I can gauge time after kids leave the junior high is it sounds kind of weird, but like how well I can draw that person on a piece of paper just from memory.
Sure.
And so Aiden is a little fuzzy. Like, so I would compare him to like, and not comparing in any sense like personalities, but like if I was to draw Andrew Johnson, I could draw Andrew Johnson pretty detailed, but he was just in the school, sure, right? Because he's a freshman, I believe.
I think so.
Okay, because I think. Anyways, maybe not. Maybe it's not Andrew Johnson, but like, you know what I'm saying? Like somebody that I've seen more recently.
Yeah, sure.
So I know exactly I could pick Aiden out of the crowd, absolutely, but I don't know how much he's changed because I haven't had the chance to physically see him in front of me, yeah, at least in a year.
Yeah.
So yeah, what's he up to? What's Aiden up to?
Growing his hair.
Growing his hair?
Yeah, he needs to cut it. It's he's got the 1970s look going on.
Okay.
He's probably about 6'2" ish, give or take, but I would probably say about 170 pounds. He's a solid kid.
Okay.
He's playing tennis. He made varsity tennis, which is more power to him.
Yes.
Play tennis. He played basketball. So I'm glad that he's actually being active and, again, being, putting the effort in, right? So right, he's a huge body to just not do anything. I'll put it that way. Like when he wasn't doing sports, it kind of frustrated me a lot because again, it just goes to show that the kid's good at anything he does. It's almost annoying.
Really?
Yeah.
I know that obviously, like, I know how he was in class and stuff
Yeah.
like that. And he was in honors. He was super quiet.
Yeah, always.
So, and there's nothing wrong with that. There's absolutely nothing wrong with that because, like, I find myself very quiet in most situations publicly unless I feel comfortable.
Sure.
So I was like, it's so funny because I was trying to talk to my therapist about this the other day because she was like, she says, like, you're always talking about how you're really good at building relationships with people and being this goofy guy and stuff like that. But yet when you're on the calls with me, you like are so dry, you won't make eye contact, like it seems like you're emotionless or something. But it's like when I don't feel safe or when I feel like I'm talking a lot about like the sensitive stuff,
Yeah.
I'm just dry. There's no smiling. I don't want to, like, I just want to talk.
You just want to get through it, right?
Right. But
Yeah.
so I find myself like that in sensitive situations. And
Yep.
then when I'm in public around people and it's not to say I don't like them, I don't feel safe around
Yeah,
them.
you just
Right.
Yeah.
But day one, I'm safe in my classroom because this is my classroom that is decorated like I like it.
It's your environment.
And I'm in charge.
Yep.
Right.
Correct.
So I don't think I'm above the kids in any sense, but I'm the teacher and they're the students.
Absolutely.
And so it feels better. So I'm
Oh, yeah.
allowed to see. And that's the thing. I don't know what my true self is. I don't know if it's the bubbly one that you know, or if it's the one that I'm talking with my therapist about, or if I'm in public around people I don't like. Sorry, not like, you know what I mean? Like
No,
when
you're just not familiar.
yes,
right?
when I
Yeah.
say I don't like, I say it as a joke in school all the time. Like I tell the kids, I love y'all, I just don't like adults. And it's not meaning I don't like all adults. It means that I don't want to be at Six Flags around 100 people that are cutting me off
Yep.
and all this stuff, and I don't know them. To me, they are adults.
Correct.
They are adults. People I know, I don't consider them like adults. So,
Yep.
so wow, Aiden. Okay, long hair.
Yeah.
So I grew my hair out, girl. You probably wouldn't believe this, but I grew my hair out probably to chin length when I was in high school.
Yeah.
Yeah. And like I had acne all on my forehead because I was always trying to do the middle part and like do like that. Oh my gosh. So his is down to like
His
right
is
there.
long. Yeah, his is long.
So does he have like, how's it cut or is it cut? It's just growing.
It's just growing. Well,
Okay.
it needs to be cut, and every time he says he gets it cut, you can't tell a difference.
Micah was the same way.
Yeah, I mean, and at the end of the day, I've pushed that envelope a little too
Yeah.
hard sometimes, and I'm just, at the end of the day,
Yeah.
it doesn't affect who he is as a person. It's
Yeah.
you kind of got to pick your battles at that point, right? I would much rather him be succeeding at school
Yeah.
than worrying about his hair right now. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I just want him to, again, anybody, I want everybody to value themselves.
Yep.
Right? I don't ever want them to, think that they're less than what they should be.
Right.
That's the main thing.
And that's such a good point is like, because I think that like, cause now I go into my school all the time and I don't know, at least every hallway, if not every 20 feet, there's a poster on the wall that says anti-bullying. Right. So I don't think that definitely like the word bullying wasn't a thing when we were in school. Like,
Oh, no.
you know what I mean? It was just
No.
like, oh, you got whooped, you know
Yeah.
what I mean? Or whatever.
Well, I mean, and at the end of the day, I think that, just whether here's the deal. I think that it's good healthy to that.
Yes.
As well.
Yes,
I think it can't
absolutely.
be taken too far.
No,
But I
absolutely.
can tell you that a lot of these kids are super soft.
No, yeah,
Like,
no, yeah,
joke. Like
yeah.
if you're not dying, then you're still alive. You know what I mean?
Gotcha. No, so
Yeah.
yeah, just Addie just showed a picture of Aiden. All right.
Yeah.
So here's the thing. And I don't like, and I know that we're on the same page with
Yep.
this, but like, I've seen bullying in school. I've seen it, and I'm talking about like, because I can't really remember, and I'll talk a little bit about that the past, but like I've seen it since I've been a teacher. I've seen it,
Yep.
and I know the difference between bullying and then someone just giving you a hard time.
Yeah, for sure.
I give my kids equally a hard time every day.
Yep.
And like, so if they were to ever say, oh, that's bullying, no, it's like we joke
It's-
and laugh.
It's
and
equal opportunity.
Yes.
Everybody's getting it.
Yes.
It's not, nobody's picking on you.
yes, it's just a different way to show love. Like,
Yep.
for instance, oh, wow, I'm glad I have these. So I had, what color? Do you remember? This one. I had yellow today. I think I had yellow today. So I had this one in school today, and like in the hallway, and especially like in my second block of math, I remember I was doing it in all seventh period. I would go like this, and I would hit kids in the back with it,
Yeah.
and then I would just hide real quick, and I would just put it in my hands, and then I walk around acting like I'm helping students around, and I'll do that until they try to figure it out or whatever. And then, man, so like I get how like that could be seen. Oh, I can't believe a teacher hit a kid with something in class or whatever. Like, come on, man. That's how I show love.
Agreed.
They turn around and we're just laughing and it's hilarious because like, who did that? Who did that? You know what I mean? But like, so to me, that's a giving a hard time.
Yep.
The other side of that bullying, I've seen it where that like it started verbally and it was like because of the person couldn't afford like, you know, the clothes and, and stuff like that. And maybe they didn't physically look is the same as everybody else. And I've seen that too. And that's definitely, I think, where the bullying, like that's definitely a clear definition between the two.
Correct.
So I know I see bullying, but whenever I say that word wasn't really around when we were younger, it's just because like, man, it seems like every other week someone got in a fight.
Yeah. Like
I know me personally, and I don't like talking about it too much because I don't think I've ever really won a fight. When I say won a fight, I was the guy at the end that wasn't on the ground. But I remember like every year, 6th grade, I had 2. I remember, and I don't care, but it was Donnie Claiborne.
Yep.
And it was Nick Cavazos.
Okay.
So I got in a fight those 2 years. I know that I wouldn't be getting in a fight if I wasn't running my mouth. So I know I was running my mouth.
Oh, yeah.
So like they just didn't fight me just to want to fight me.
Yeah.
And then I can't remember, but there was a few fights. I got in at least 7 or 8 fights while I was in school. And so like that, I guess that's where, I don't know if that's where it changed, is that they got more stricter on fighting. And then it said, oh, we can't fight so much. So we're going to switch it to verbally hurting your feelings.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I truly don't. But at the same time, we didn't have cell phones.
Correct.
We didn't have social media.
Yeah.
And we didn't have these ways that we could get at somebody other than like in school.
Yeah.
Because
everybody had things to do outside of school, right? Nobody was hanging out like they are or glued to a phone or, you know, and that's the crazy thing too, is like, I think that's a big problem with society is, you know, social media, the instant gratification.
I agree.
Right.
Yep.
So
it's the endorphins.
Yeah. Yep. And the thing is too, not only the instant gratification, that goes back to you. Well, this guy's got it figured out. Yeah. And I don't. What's wrong with me? You know what I mean? And at the end of the day too, like I'm going to be 100% honest.
Yeah.
I think society started turning downhill and they started participation trophies.
Oh, absolutely.
I mean, here's
100%.
Here's the deal. Like when you go to work, just because you show up don't mean you win.
Yeah, absolutely.
You have to be active. You have to pursue what you want. Nobody's going to give it to you. You have to create those opportunities.
Yeah.
And, you know, again, I think that, you know, everybody with a mindset, listen, I've had people bring their parents to job interviews.
Yeah.
Like, who in the world, like maybe if they drove you there, maybe like when you were like 13 or 14, okay. But 22, 23 years old, like you should be a big boy and be able to handle it yourself. You know what I mean? Like, and that's kind of the culture that we're growing. Right. And I think too, you know, again, like you use the word bully, but if you take, you know, fighting, for instance, right? Here's the deal. How many times did it take you to get punched in the mouth to stop talking?
Yeah.
Once.
I remember, you know, like after those fights,
I
never talked about that person ever again. Yeah. And I definitely didn't talk to him again.
That's correct. Right.
Like,
and it's just, and again, I think that a lot of that being removed from society, again, is creating the issues that you're seeing. Right. You know, if somebody starts to bully you, you punch them, you're done with it. Like that's how you shut a bully up.
Yeah. No.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like it's 100% real.
So no, absolutely. And like, I agree with you on the participation trophy. Like I never understood that. No. I never like, that wasn't a thing whenever I played sports or did anything like that. Same. And it wasn't really when my kids went through sports because like they didn't go through a lot of different sports. They occasionally would play soccer or something like that, but it wasn't like a constant thing. So I really didn't get to physically see it. And then like really firsthand, and I don't even know if I have really even as a teacher, to be honest with you, because at least at the junior high level, the stuff that's in school, like they're still first place, like you win this and stuff like that. And as far as I'm aware, I don't see like the team that got last in district wearing a medal at the end of the day. So, but I know it does exist because I've heard of it and I've seen it and I've like definitely experienced it, like just watching videos and stuff.
Sure.
But yeah, man, like I would definitely say that. So you opened my eyes to something because I'm on social media all the time. Like, and I am, and I know that, I can't, I don't want it to ever influence me in the sense that like it's like corrupting the way that I think.
Sure.
Because I think that I'm trying to tell somebody something that or make them feel like they should be somebody that they're not.
Yep.
Like I don't want to turn into one of those kind of people. So like I've never thought about this word before, but like you see like people talking about, oh, that's a YouTube influencer, that's a social media influencer, stuff like that. I don't would ever think of myself as an influencer because I don't want to be like ever put into that category of the people that are just there to try to change you and make you feel bad about yourself and stuff like that. My whole thing is I'd rather be like, I'm going to share some stuff that's going on with me. And it's not ever going to be like, oh, here's how much money I have, or here's what I'm doing now, or here's how much better I am and stuff like that. No, it's like, here's my struggles. Here's what I'm doing right now. And here's what I've done to help me be happier and be like more confident in myself and stuff like that. So man, that's real, man. Like I think that there's a lot of, I don't know if I'd say negative, but a lot of like fake people out there on social media. And then, when you get somebody, especially a young person that's watching that person and they want to be like that person. I mean, next thing you know, they're going to be like what are those two like nerdy guys that have tattoos all over their face? The Island Boys.
The Island Boys,
Yeah. It's like next thing you know, they're going to want to be like them, getting tattoos all over their face. And don't get me wrong, I love tattoos. I'm very, very passionate about that. But like there's a clear difference between that and like getting a whole face mural and stuff like that. Like, it's like, come on, you're really setting yourself up to like my question would be like, why? What was the point in that?
Correct.
Like, just because it's like you want every single person to always approach you and see that as being the representation of you. And again, I guess if I would love to talk to somebody like that like has that situation, that maybe they can, open my eyes to it a little bit differently. But I just don't want, I don't like that there's a lot of negativity out there. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Well, again, don't need that.
Well, here's the deal. It's people who do it for the right reason. It's people who do it for the fame or the clout or anything like that. Like your content, you do it genuinely. You do it from your heart. There's a difference between like just wanting to come on here and just shoot the breeze because that's what you want to do.
Yeah.
But there's also purpose in what you talk about. There's, again, it's not, and here's the deal. And I really think this too, is it's not for anybody else. It's for you. You say therapy. I think that this is your therapy.
Oh, 100%.
You know what I mean? I think that, again, everybody goes through it every different way, right? Like with me, it's more, hey, I want to go do weights. For you, it could be sitting down and editing. That's how you get through it, right? You see it. I like to build stuff. I love building stuff. And you take something that's not put together and you build it and you have that sense of accomplishment. You know what I mean? And it feels good. It really does. Right. So, I think that that's the main thing, but honestly, like, and it's so funny because I remember you working at Walmart and you were very successful at Walmart, right? And I don't know what you were. I think you were like a district manager or what, like LP or something like that.
Yeah, for a short period of time, very short period of time, I was a market asset protection manager. So I was supervised that division of Walmart over 21 stores. Okay. But while I was here in the Hillsborough one, I was the asset protection manager. So I was a salaried manager that did the asset protection, loss prevention. Yeah.
And then I hear, oh yeah, he's going to be a school teacher. The first thing that thought, and here's the deal.
No, please be honest.
No, I'm being 100% honest. I think it's your calling. I really do.
I appreciate that.
Like knowing you and here's the deal, dude. Like you've grown up a whole lot because we did grow up together, right? I remember you doing some of the silliest stuff I've ever seen in my life. We won't go into detail.
Just to get attention.
And here's the deal. It was great. And here's the deal. But you've grown up.
Yeah,
right?
Absolutely.
But here's the deal. You're paying it forward, right? What were you doing at Walmart? You were protecting stuff.
Yeah.
Now you're growing kids.
Yeah.
There's a difference, right? And I think that teachers in general just don't get the respect. They don't get they should be put on a pedestal. They're developing the next generation of people who are going to run the planet.
Yep.
That's it. And you're part of that. So I think it's actually really cool. I think it's something that, not only is it commendable, I mean, it's very respectful. And again, you're doing it from a place of honesty,
Man, I appreciate you saying that. So I appreciate how you like kind of like, you tied it all together as far as, you went from Walmart to this. So like the whole reason why I left Walmart was because I interrogated people like that worked for Walmart, and I would travel all over the state of Texas. And when you sit across from a couple of them that will just make you want to rip your own heart out because of the situation that they found themselves in where they took money from the register or something like that.
Yep.
Man, like I came home in tears. I don't know how I made it home without, like, I had to shut off the world. Like I remember driving back from Waco. I don't even care. It was the Belmead Walmart. It was my biggest interview I ever did, my biggest interrogation. It was for over $100,000. And I'm driving back, and I remember getting on the interstate in Belmead, and I remember exiting for Hillsboro, and like, how did I get here?
You don't even remember it.
Like, I don't know how, like the time just disappeared, and like, but I had to blank out to make sure I could get home. Because if I started feeling my emotions after that conversation,
you're not going over.
No, I would have wrecked, and I would have all kinds of stuff. So I got home, and I remember breaking down in tears, and probably Melinda holding me and all kinds of stuff, and me just talking about stuff. But I remember having a few of those, and thinking to myself, I don't want this ever again. I don't want to feel like that I'm a part, whether I'm the one that told them to steal. Of course I didn't, but I was involved in a situation where now they're going to jail, maybe going to prison and paying back a huge fine. And they just lost a job that they've been working for 20 years, all because I was good at my job. So if I wasn't good as my job, or if someone else would have came to do that interrogation, maybe this person would not be going to prison or something. Sure. And so I get it. They're the ones that caused it. There's laws and all that kind of stuff. But at the same time, I felt like that I caused that in a sense. Sure. So I said, I don't want that anymore. Melinda was going to be a teacher. She taught me into doing my alternative certification. I thought that it was a waste of time because I barely got my college degree. I have the lowest GPA, and I say this quite a few times. I have the lowest GPA out of every single teacher in the entire Hillsboro ISD. I know that because my principal had to sign a piece of paper saying, I'll still take him even though he has lower than a 2.5. I have a 2.28. Very low. It was one of the lowest that you can possibly get to graduate from college. And I remember thinking, oh, there's no way I can do this. I'm just going to do it just to help support Melinda, to help her study and all this stuff. And then I got into it. And I got passionate about it. And I talked to Leslie Brown. You remember Leslie Brown? Leslie Smith now. And she signed off on some of my paperwork for going through the training and everything, and getting my job in that very first year. Like seeing those kids in the hallway, and it's like, and to see the couple of them that were like, thank you so much for listening or for helping me. And I was hooked. It was like a drug, like I sometimes give analogies that aren't the best ones, but like they say it all the time. It's like getting hooked on a drug or whatever. I got hooked on the love that these kids could provide for me and what I was able to do for them.
Correct.
And man, like I'll never want to do anything else. Like I've been offered or talked about positions where it's not in the classroom anymore, like in administration or something dealing with like, basically I would not be in the classroom, and I was just helping from an outside perspective. And I got to say, no, you know what I mean? I can't even apply for something like that because you're telling me that I can't be around kids anymore. And I know that could sound weird for the wrong person to hear it, but I'm a teacher. We teach because we want to be around the kids, because we have that chance to make the impact on them that maybe no one else could do before.
That's correct.
Absolutely. So man, I appreciate you making those connections. So like, here's the thing. Like, I know after going through my test, I just went through my autism testing and all that. One of the things that they did tell me, because it's not like they say, hey, you're autistic, here's a certificate. No, it's not that. No one wants to be, hey, I want a disability. No one wants that.
Sure.
But yeah, a part of that is telling me, like, because I took an IQ test when I was there too. And I almost cried, not because they told me that I was autistic and then that I do have ADHD, but they told me that my IQ was average to above average. And it's like this whole time, my entire life, I thought I was stupid. And that's something I want to talk about on, like, not this right now, but like, I thought I was stupid. And the worst thing that anybody could ever call me growing up is stupid. Like, they can call me a curse word. They can talk about my mom. They could do all this stuff. But the worst thing somebody could do is say, hey, stupid. And I would lose it because that's how I felt about myself. I thought I was stupid. So man, like it's it's really cool to know that now I know my worth. I know I'm happy how I am, and I know I'm not stupid. So I want to be able to eventually share that message with that kid that is going through the same feeling I did. I'm just stupid because I can't pass.
Yep.
I can't do this. I can't ever, like, I'm always getting kicked out of sports because I can't meet my grades and stuff like that.
Yep.
I want to help that student, and I just got to figure out the way to do that.
Yeah.
But so anyways, that's another time. So you already talked about, like, I did silly stuff and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But I want to talk about one thing specifically. I got to get a drink of water because I don't want to mess this up. So were you there, or do you know more details about the fight that I talk about quite a bit where
you fought Kevin?
Yeah, I fought Kevin. Do you remember his last name?
Godsey.
Holy Jesus.
Yeah.
I've been trying to think of this kid's name forever.
Yeah.
Kevin Godsey. I have no ill will towards Kevin at all. Like, we're all kids and whatever, but like, were you there? Did you see it?
So I never, like, I didn't make it there,
Yeah.
but I've, like, physically. So from what I remember you riding your bike. I do remember that. Like, I remember, like, kind of like the details leading up to it. By the time that me and my group of buddies got over there, it was already done.
Okay.
Right. Now the only thing I can remember is that, you took the bad end.
Oh, I got beat up.
Yeah. Yeah. And then, you ended up having a concussion from what I understand. And because I remember talking to your sister, and she was like, yeah, because I mean, we checked on you, right?
Yeah,
I mean, again, we always checked on you, and, and she was like, yeah, he's got a concussion. And then of course, everybody's like, yeah, make sure you don't go to sleep. And, your typical probably WebMD stuff that, you probably have read on, probably has no idea what we're talking about. But, again, it's one of those things where, it's dudes being dudes, you know what I mean? And that's part of it. And, to your point, it happens. And, but I wasn't actually there, but I remember Kevin and you got into it. And I remember, before cell phones or anything like that, it was, people whispering in each other's ear, oh, Robbie and Kevin are fighting after school, yada, 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 meet over here. Then, everybody in a big old freaking circle. And, by the time we got there, everybody was clearing out. And, I mean, it wasn't a good situation. From what I remember. Yeah.
So like, I always tell people that I lost my memory for about a few months, like 2 or 3 months before and 2 or 3 months after. I can't remember anything. I can't remember the fight at all. Like, not even like dreams and stuff like that I make up in my head.
Sure.
But so I do remember this. I do remember the whole reason for the fight is he was dating Carrie Hafer.
Okay.
He was dating Carrie Hafer, and for whatever reason, I either talked her into dating me instead, or I was just nice to her. I don't know. Like, I'm sure it was because of me. I mean, it just was like anyway, it doesn't, like, I guess it does matter because that's why he didn't like me. So then me and her started dating for about a week or two, I think. And then, it was word of mouth. People was like, oh, Kevin's talking trash about you. Say he's going to beat you up and stuff like that. We passed a couple times on the back hallway. You know how you come around the back hallway by my classroom? And I remember we just kind of like, he'd do something like that or whatever. And I'm like, oh yeah. So you going to say something? We talk trash or whatever. And then of course, if you get in fight in school, you got to go to ISS. Now you get in fight in school, you get 45 to 90 days in DAP.
Yeah.
I never went to DAP and got in 6 or 7 fights in school. And got caught every time.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, I remember. So like him talking, me talking noise, and then someone saying, let's meet at the park. I said, let's go. So I remember that. That's all I don't even remember us like talking about wanting to fight. I just remember that the whole reason why the fight started is because sure, I took his girlfriend. Like, that's the easy way to say it.
Yeah.
But now the rest of all of my knowledge is what I pieced together from what people said happened.
Yep.
So we got to the park. I don't know who hit who first. Someone told me that I was on top of him and they said, oh, it's over. Robbie's about to win. And then the next thing, all they could tell me, the next thing that happened was all of a sudden Kevin's on top of you and he's just like laying into you. So, so I don't know, like someone told me this and I don't want to throw it out because I'm just saying they said it. Someone said he kicked me in the head a few times. I don't know.
Yeah.
As far as I'm aware, he broke his hand. So I know he hit me with his hand.
Yeah.
So he hit me a whole bunch of times. I had a couple really bad whelps. And, but yeah, like I fell asleep 3 or 4 times to the point that, like this is later after I got home. Somehow I got home. Somehow I drove home or something. But my sister had to wind up writing like a big whiteboard or a note that basically had things that I would ask when I would wake up, like, where am I? Where's my car? Where's your car? Why do I feel like this? Those kind of things.
Yeah.
She would write the questions and then the answers. So every time I wake up, she would just say, read this. And so 4 or 5 times that I would pass out and wake back up. So I clearly had a concussion.
Yeah.
And now, like, I'm no doctor and I haven't got my head scanned, but I have some sort of damage because I wouldn't have lost that memory and stuff.
Right.
But anyway, so yeah, so that happened. So Kevin, I'll say this, and I know you probably never see this or whatever. Dude, I'm sorry. Like, I know we were kids back then and stuff like that. I hold no ill will whatsoever. Like, I mean, dude, we're kids. I would probably would have done it to you too, but obviously you're tougher than I am. That's why you won. So there you go. So yeah, so man, I was just curious about that. And then like, I think this is like, and I definitely want to ask you if you have some stuff to talk about, but I want to talk about this next one because it's the top one. So Slim Shady.
Jesus.
So like, so Crystal, I think she might have put a comment or like somehow she got in touch. It was comment. Okay. Yeah. So she was like, she said, whenever you talked about with Addie with that whole 21 Jump Street thing, and she, she thought that was really funny. That
she almost spit her water out.
That's what it was. That's what it was. So like, and I don't mean that in any disrespect.
No, honestly, like looking back at it, it's a very accurate. It's
right.
very accurate.
Yeah, and so I thought it was super funny because I remember watching 21 Jump Street for the first time. The second I knew what was going on in the first scene when Jonah Hill was dressed up like him, I was like, Brian, that is 100% Brian. They stole that from Brian, 100%. So it makes me realize that, like, and he even sung a song, and I watched the music video, The Real Slim Shady, and it has all those guys dressing like him. It was a nationwide phenomenon to seriously dye your hair like blondish or whatever and wear a white t-shirt. Yeah. Like that was the trend. So I thought it was like, oh, this is Brian's thing. And that's why when I watched the movie, oh, that's Brian, thinking that they really somehow stole it from Brian. No, it was everyone everywhere in different towns that was doing the same thing. Yeah. He made that big of an impact because there was no one like him before. Sure, there was rappers and all that kind of stuff, but there was no one really like him before.
Correct. Yeah.
So man, so you still like him?
Honestly, I do. Okay. I really do. And here's the deal. It's kind of crazy. So like, of course, growing up through school, I was rap 100%, right?
Absolutely.
Didn't listen to anything, other than when I was with my mom, it was Tupac, Biggie, Eminem,
Okay.
My mom jammed out.
That's
my dad,
cool.
Here's the deal. It was country. Yeah. And that's cool, So I will tell you this, like, I can't stand rap. New rap, it's horrible.
Yeah,
right? There's a few people that I will listen to now, but the majority of them, man, it's just garbage. Like it's mumbles, they're auto tune, like,
and they're just horrible.
Yeah.
Like,
well, I mean, here's the deal. Again, you're supposed to be, and I can't say anything because Eminem. You go back and listen to some of his stuff, and you're like, why would you? I would never let my kids.
Yeah, like he burned down his girlfriend's house or whatever, all kinds of stuff. Yeah.
But again, I'm more like, I'll listen to anything, right? Yeah. And it's so funny. So Crystal gives me crap all the time because like when we're at the gym, like I'll show her like kind of what I'm listening to. And Careless Whisper by George Michael's. The saxophone is in there. It's pretty interesting. It works.
I'm not judging in any sense.
It's okay. Here's the deal. It's okay if you do. I'm okay with that. It's my jam that I put on.
And I get that. Like
I used to listen to Justin Bieber's Baby for the longest time too, man. Like, as long as it's got a good beat. Hey, I listen to Mexican music too, bro. I don't understand what they're saying. Yeah, but if it's got a good beat, heck yeah, let's get after it.
Yeah, no, like so, like I there's no way I'm gonna judge you because I have a couple songs that I listen to that like are strictly supposedly to be for someone that is neurodivergent, like just because it does things to your head, like it moves the sound from left to right, earmuff and stuff like that. So there's a couple of those I like, and if anyone else listened to them like on speakers, they'd be like, "This is weird." Yeah, I'm like, I get it, but it's not like, anyways, it's my thing. Yeah. But at the same time, like I'll listen to, like I don't like new rap. I really despise new rap, but I do like, and I don't even know if I call him a rapper. I like Post Malone. Yeah. And I know some people don't, and that's fine. I like Drake. I mean, I'm not saying I like who they are as a person.
Correct.
I want to listen to their music. I don't know anything about them at all, but I just like their music, and it's kind of cool. But if it's not them, then yes, I'm listening to Snoop. I'm listening to Dre back in the day. I'll listen to Eminem. Like I don't catch myself ever putting Eminem on, but I want to listen to the songs that he joined in.
Yes, correct.
Because like the song was like, oh, I want to listen to this dude, and you're giving me Eminem.
Yeah,
I like those.
Yeah,
Like, so Dre is a lot of stuff. So,
Yeah.
man, yeah. So like, what's your favorite song of Eminem's? I'm curious.
No, it wouldn't be the real Slim Shady.
He used to know all the lyrics.
Yeah.
I'm sure he still does.
Yeah, probably for the most part, right? You know,
Yeah.
honestly, like I couldn't pick one. To be
Yeah.
honest with you, I
Yeah.
like Rap God. I like that
Yeah.
a lot because again, it's really impressive that you can win a what is that, a Guinness World Book of Records
Yeah.
for most syllables in a certain amount of time.
Yeah.
That's very impressive, right? But no, I like a lot of his stuff. We were listening to some stuff that he was doing with Juice World, that he did with Juice World, and I don't really care for any, like, again, it's more of the stuff, right? Like Joyner Lucas, he does some stuff with Joyner Lucas, and I like Joyner as well. He's good, but you know, again, it's kind of just whatever mood I'm in. It's kind of weird, you know. It's kind of one of those things. Like when I'm with Adeline, you know, yeah, we listen to rap every once in a while, but ideally, like, we're singing country songs together.
Yeah,
you know, we Cody Johnson's our jam. You know, like Morgan Wallen, Crystal took her to her first concert ever and took her to go see Parker McCollum.
Okay.
So again, we like everything, and that's the thing, is like she's just like me. Like her listening stuff is just like mine. Like Crystal, she's the exact same. Dre, Snoop, you know, Biggie, like Bone Thugs and Harmony, like stuff like that.
Yeah,
like
Bone Thugs. Yeah.
And again, she graduated in 2002 as well.
Okay,
So like she's in the, I would say, the golden era of music, right? We've all been grandfathered in, and we're having to teach the younger generation what it's about, right?
Yep.
So,
yep. Man, no, like, and that's, man, I know that like I would be embarrassed to say it back in the day, because I think everybody wants to say that they were unique and like had their own taste and stuff. Dude, I was the mimicking version of whoever I was around.
Sure.
Whoever I liked. When I was like best friends with Isidro, I would wear Dickies and I'd wear like Vans or whatever, and like solid colored t-shirts. But like whoever I found that I admired, or that like I thought that was cool and unique about them, I adopted it. So like you're the reason why I started liking Eminem. I remember going to your house, and I want to say there was someone else there with us.
Probably Matt Wells.
Yep. That's what that's about to say. So so we went over there, and then I remember I'd never heard of Eminem before like being at your house in that day. And like, I remembered you just like were like, I think we went in your room, and you put one of the songs on, or one of the songs came on, and then like you spit every lyric. And I'm like, I saw how passionate you were for wanting to do that, and like be like into that song, that I was like, man, I think that's when I first was like, oh, okay, like I like this dude. You know what I mean? Like because I don't think I was ever around a lot of people that truly were passionate about anything.
Sure.
You know, and you were one of those first people. So man, that's like, man, I can remember that now.
Yeah.
I did not remember being over at your parents until just now. Remembering you introducing me to Eminem. So man, that's really cool.
Yeah.
So man, so you mentioned her a couple of times. I know that Crystal. So I know that that we talked about her a few times and stuff like that. But like, I'm kind of curious, and I know Addie already told me this, but then again, it's my memory, so I want to hear it again. Where did y'all meet? How did y'all meet?
So funny, the funniest story, we actually met on Instagram. Okay. So
I think I remember that.
So I would just, again, with previous life kind of coming to a close, and just reached out and just said like, hey, like, I've shot my shot, right?
Yeah.
And she found me interesting. I have no idea why. She still sees me in the dark a lot, so I think as long as the lights don't come on, I'm okay. But no, and it's crazy because so we went out on our first date, and I went and picked her up. She was living in an apartment. Went picked her up. We went out to eat at Papacitos on off of 30 in Fort Worth.
Okay,
and we got there about 7:30, 8 o'clock, and we literally shut the restaurant down. And there was never a dull moment. Like we talked the entire time. And it's kind of very unique when you find somebody that literally makes you feel comfortable. Right? Just being able to be vulnerable. We don't use that word a lot as dudes.
No, yeah.
And but I will say that with her, it's easy. Like, again, I can be silly, I can be goofy, I can be mad, I can do kind of whatever I want to do, and it's just accepted. You know what I mean? And again, it's just one of those things too, where it was difficult with getting, not being able to see my kids every day. Right.
Yeah.
And she's got two boys that are at home that are, one's 14, fixing to be 15 this year. And the other one he'll be 11, next month on the 8th. He's literally, her birthday's 20 days after his. And, I think that their relationship with me, I think, has filled in a lot of that emotional stuff with missing my kiddos. Right.
Mm-hmm.
But I will say that, and don't take this the wrong way, but I'm honestly ready for my kids all of our kids to be gone, to where we can actually physically start our time, right?
Oh, yeah.
Undivided time, right? Uninterrupted, hanging out, just being us, right? Because I really do enjoy her. Like, and it's crazy because, like, they say, like, some people are like, yeah, oh, we got to be going, we got to be doing. And with us, we can literally just sit at home on the couch with not even the TV on, and we still have a great time. Like, it's really weird to say it, but it's probably, well, it's not probably, it is. It's the happiest I've ever been in my life.
Yeah.
I'll put it that way. And, she challenges me. She keeps me honest. She, if I'm trying to skate my way or swindle my way out of a difficult subject, or a situation, no, like, you're going to face it head on. Right. And that's kind of been my main thing is like, oh, we'll go to goofiness, or we'll, kind of play it off or anything like that. And, again, it's those difficult conversations is what makes you or what breaks you. Right. And with her, it's easy, and it's so great.
Man, like, so, man, I love how you said a couple of things. So, like, you said, first of all, the one thing that really stuck with me, you said, like, guys like us, especially our age and stuff like that, or older, don't use that word enough, vulnerable.
Yeah.
But, like, it's super important. Like, I know that I've been honest but, like, it's because I started caring about myself.
Correct.
And the second you really start caring about yourself, I think that it allows you to accept you can be vulnerable with this person.
Correct.
And I think that sometimes, unfortunately, some people, the person they're with isn't the right person to be vulnerable with.
Yes.
And I'm not saying that in a sense, because I think we're both in the same situations where this is not our first marriage.
Yes.
And I'm not talking about that. I'm just talking about, like, I'm not saying that any negative on one side. I'm saying that we both got lucky.
Correct.
When we were, and this was how it was for me. When I was ready to be vulnerable, I was lucky that I was with someone that is who I want to be with, and who wanted me to be vulnerable this whole time.
That's correct. Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Exactly.
So like, it's really cool. So let me validate you. And this is the other thing, because I know you got upset about it. And, like, first of all, that's fine. And it's a valid feeling whenever your dad says, I'm ready for you to be gone. It's a valid feeling. But let me validate him real quick. When my wife and I started couples therapy, probably about a year ago, after a few sessions, the therapist had to tell us, and it's like, like, it's great that you love your kids and stuff like that, but the most important thing, what do you think the most important thing that y'all should work on is like, being the best father, being the best mother and stuff like that for your kids. And then that's basically what we said, because we have an autistic kid and we got to be there for him. And she said, you know what? No, the most important thing needs to be the relationship that you two have together, because you chose to be with that woman. And she is the one that's going to be there for you the rest of your life. And that's where the focus needs to be, because if you focus on that first, then the other stuff is so much easier. Yep. Because the kids, you got to think about it this way. Like as a kid, I know that you're like, oh, that might mean that he doesn't love me as much as he does her, or something like that. But think about it. Don't you as a kid want to know what love should look like? Yep. You know what I mean? So then that way, later on, when you get to a point when you start dating or trying to find that person for you, you know what I mean? You want to have a great example of what that is that you're looking for, because too much nowadays, I think that especially young women, they don't see that modeled.
That's correct. Maybe
as well as others. And they wind up in a bad relationship that's abusive physically, emotionally, or they wind up getting into something very quick. Yep. And not looking for that right person for them. Yep. So I would say that, like, bravo to you that realizing that's the thing that needs to be your number one important thing. Yep, is making sure that your relationship with your wife comes first.
Yeah, for sure. Well, and here's the deal too. to that point is they do have to see that, right? Because again, that's what, when you're grown, we've done our job. We've groomed you, we've put you out into the world, and we're putting the best version of you into the world. That's all we're doing. That's our main purpose as parents, to prepare you for what you're going to see when you get in the world. And you know that I keep it 100% real, whether you want to hear it or not. We'll go back and we'll talk about cheerleading from, yeah, exactly. So the main thing too, again, is just, it is that it's the structure of what kids see nowadays is, again, are we settling? Again, so many times people settle. I don't want to settle, right? This is, when I first got married, I thought it was going to be a one and done. And guess what? It's not, and this is my one and done. I found the person, like you said, I found the person that I love and I want to spend the rest of my life with. And that's going to be that's where I put all my time and attention to. Because if you don't put all your time and attention to it, it's going to fall apart.
I agree 100%. Like I always felt like I was lucky to have Melinda, and don't get me wrong, I'm very lucky to have her. I'm extremely lucky to have her, but like I always put her worth so much above my own that I always felt like I was trying to do something to like keep her or to like get her, impress her and stuff like that. And it wasn't until I started caring about myself to realize she's with me because of me.
Correct.
And if I just love myself a little bit more or a lot more or whatever, then our relationship can just grow even further. Correct. So man, it's really cool to see it from that perspective, and just to listen to somebody else that's in a similar situation, because I know all of our situations are unique. But it's really cool to see that. So how does that, and I'm not going to go into too much details because we do have personal parts of situations and stuff like that involving our kids, but like, so is it like standard custody pretty much for the most part? Okay. I knew that's kind of something we talked about. And I'm in the same situation too. The only difference is I think that my kid is 2 years older than Aiden. So he already graduated high school. He graduated back in December, Micah. So he won't turn 18 until August. So I've got a few more months where, yes, the papers are still in play because it's standard custody because he's technically a minor. So wow, man, it's different. It's definitely different. Like once going through that experience, and continuing to go through the experience of not having the kids like, all the time so they can be there. But the thing is that like, I think that obviously clearly you found a situation that was, like the best for you because you're with Crystal now, you know what I mean? And you have that relationship, and Addie's had a chance to be around her and build that relationship and all that stuff. All to say things happen for a reason, but it's definitely weird. It's kind of weird because like, I think a lot of the stuff that I always thought was unique to me and my situation going through my divorce, but to kind of like hear some of the stuff you're telling me and stuff like that. And it's like a lot of stuff we have in common.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? So I'll say this, and this is kind of like, hold on, I'm gonna save this for the end. So like, I apologize. I kind of said this earlier. Like, what do you like? Is there something that you wanted to talk about or something that you had questions on?
Well, so on Crystal's note, so she wanted me to clarify that I don't get beat at home. Like she made it out to be. So 99.5% of our playfulness, which is me getting beat up. I'm not gonna share.
I get it.
Because she's gonna watch this. But is self-inflicted. You know what I mean? Like if you poke the bear, you're just gonna get it, right? Yeah. And I enjoy it. I love being playful, and that's the thing too. I think again, as you get old and grown, you still got to enjoy. Like you said, it's just about the enjoyment, right? And one thing I can say is, it's fun. That's the greatest thing about it, right? There's never really a dull moment, especially when we have this goof in our house. She's something special too. Like, again, it's just, I'm glad that, she's as close to us as she is. Aiden's come around. Me and him had a little bit of a falling out when I cut his hair. And he didn't want to come around, which really, like, it really did.
Oh yeah. I get it.
It hurt me pretty bad. But again, at the end of the day, they're going to have their own lives, right?
Yeah.
And that's you know kind of what we're getting prepared for as we as we get older, they get older, right? And no, I think all in all, like life is great, man. And I think that's a main thing. And I'm glad you hit on how you transitioned into teaching, because that was something that I never really kind of understood how you got there.
Mm-hmm.
I just think it's important that you are there, right?
Mm-hmm.
Hearing her and hearing how you got, and here's the deal, dude. Like, I'm so thankful that you guys like get to interact, right? It's kind of weird. I know it's probably weird. You hung out with me,
Mm-hmm.
we did some of the probably not the smartest things in the world.
Mm-hmm.
And, now you're, seeing my kiddos, like it's kind of, it's wild. You know what I mean? And I think for me, again, like she enjoys you. Like anytime that she sees you, she tells me like, oh, like you're at the basketball game, right? When you gave glasses, right? Like, oh, I gave Mr. Ennis some glasses tonight. And I'm like, girl, call that man Robbie.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yep.
But here's the deal. Like, again, I think it's more of a respect thing, and I'm thankful.
Yep.
And because here's the deal. A lot of kids, and that's the thing too, is a lot of kids nowadays, they don't get the I'm yes, sir.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
These kids, you can ask her if she's like, I'm like, hey, did you do something? Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Excuse me?
Yeah. What?
Yeah. Like,
yeah.
And I'll ask 3 or 4 times before I get what I want.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But then we'll move on.
Yeah.
But no, I think it's awesome that you're doing what you're doing. I think that's your calling, dude. Like, growing, like when we were in theater class, I remember theater class. You remember lip syncing? We used to lip sync battle and Miss Simpson's class. We
was that her name? What's her name?
Miss Simpson.
Okay, I got it right then. Okay, because I couldn't remember her name, and now I put it on Facebook earlier, and now you said Simpson, so good. That's her name. Yes. Yep. I remember she was a hippie, and she always wore like the long like,
dress.
Like they're not like laundry, like a silky type of like teacher dress, like the long with flowers and all that stuff. And she always had stuff in her hair, like pins and all kinds of stuff. Yep. But no, like I remember like she's probably the teacher that made me cry the very, very first time. Like, and I'll say this, like the only time, because I can't remember any teacher besides her and Mr. Smallman and Miss McBride and Miss the one that I wound up having to go to because I failed Miss McBride's class my senior year, Miss Warren. Warner or something like that. Oh, she was mean.
The English teacher?
Yes.
Oh God.
She was mean.
She went to Baylor after we graduated. She went to Baylor. I feel bad for whoever had her.
So mean and so dry. I'll take that back. I feel bad now.
No, I don't.
She probably wasn't necessarily mean, but she was so dry and like if you didn't look forward and something like that, she's like with a ruler on your desk. This way, like she's very like strict and routines and stuff. To be honest with you, she probably had autism, just a different type that maybe made you not like kids. But I don't know, man. But like, no, for real. But like, anyways, so no, I love being around the kids. Yeah. I get to be goofy and stuff like that without feeling like I'm being judged. If anything else, like I see other kids being goofy because whether they look up to me or they like my energy or something like that, they wind up being goofy and feeling okay to be goofy.
Yeah, it's that comfort level, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Man, I love that. I love seeing kids be goofy and then like other kids like not make fun of them because like I feel like that not every time when I was acting goofy, but I feel like that I feel like all kids get picked on, but I think that like I and I'm not putting it on them, I allowed myself to probably be an easier target just because I was awkward in certain situations.
Sure.
So like I know I know how it feels to not feel safe in school, like to be yourself.
Yeah.
But no, man, I love these kids. I truly do. My best days are the ones that I can see them say, aha, like, oh my gosh, like, yes. And then I'll get a note from Giselle that says, you're an amazing math teacher. Thank you so much for what you've done for me and all this kind of stuff. Like I'll just get that, or I'll have, and I'm so sorry, girl, if you're watching this and I'm not calling you out, but I have Hannah, one of my students, that she's typically more of the quiet girl. Like rarely do I see her like fully socializing and stuff like that in class, but I get that. But she will come up to me at the end of class and show me her comic book strip that she's been creating and drawing and all this stuff. And she's like, as soon as I look up at her and smile, like you can tell she just like, she wasn't ready to like really big smile, but she did. And how much it meant to her that I was that person that could be there to listen and look and tell her, wow, this is great. Yeah. man, that's the moments I live for. And I live for the moments of making connections with Addie, with students that I typically wouldn't have made a connection with because
Sure.
they're not in my class.
Yep. Correct.
And they have their own important stuff to do, like get to this other class with their friend and all this kind of stuff. And I'm just the weird guy that they walk by because typically that's what they think.
Yeah.
I would think. But like her, Cheney, a few other ones in those classes that I really had a chance to connect with. And I made a connection with her before I even know that you were her dad.
Yeah.
I remember that. I can't remember how early on it was in the year, but like when it finally clicked with me and I was like, oh, wow. I remember telling Miss Rodriguez that same day during 8th period, I'm like, Addie, oh my gosh, that's my friend's daughter. It's like, I didn't make the connection. And here's the thing that I'll say, and I only got one more thing I want to say after this is that, I was fortunate to know who you are.
Yep.
And like then also know her and then tie y'all together. And it's easy way for me to describe this. I can never meet a parent and know exactly what kind of person they are from their kid.
Sure.
From the respect level, from like how nice they are and how open they are to having new conversations with.
Sure.
She approached me before I approached her. I know that. But like, if I wouldn't have known you, I would have known you because I would have known that you were a part of making her who she is.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's like, there's a lot of parents I've never met that are parents of my kids, but I send them videos, like telling them about their kids and I try to make that connection,
Sure.
but I get it. Some people aren't like, that's not comfortable for them to communicate with a teacher like that.
Sure.
But I already know how they are because I got their kid in class.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? So
they're a representation of your parents, right?
Yeah. And I'll be honest with you. And I'm not saying I believe that there's more difficult kids than others. I truly do.
Sure.
But to say that there's a bad kid, I mean, like I've had some that are pretty difficult, but I'll say that like, man, it's you can definitely tell the ones that have had it a better go of it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
Than others.
For sure.
So she's definitely had a better go of it.
Yeah,
like, for sure.
So
You can definitely tell. And I'm super glad you're as passionate as you are about the stuff that you are. I think cheerleading is going to be something really cool that if you stick with, that you can find a lot of opportunities. Like you can go to college and get a scholarship, you know what I mean? And go to the college you want to, and maybe, that you get your degree and cheer at the same time. You know, there's lots of things that go on with that, but yeah. So, this is kind of what I wanted to say. Do you have anything else?
No, I'm
Okay.
good.
Yeah.
Okay.
I've been wondering about. I need to know the details of the possum story.
Okay. So here's the other thing that I think this is what he's talking about, what he's told you. So I talk about this openly now. When I got tested for autism, they said that I tested almost off the charts on my ability to camouflage my autistic traits. So what that means is I built a mask. All of what y'all normally see is this is funny and quirky about him. That's someone else's that I stole. I stole that. I stole the possum. If this is what he's talking about, the noise?
No.
Or no? Okay.
No.
Sorry. Okay, let me finish this real quick. So Aaron McGregor, Brad Tucker's, they grew up together and all that kind of stuff. Aaron McGregor used to do a possum call whenever he was in theater and stuff like that. He'd be like that. So I stole it and I used it ever since. So, but no, I'm so curious about the possum.
So the possum story was Aaron's, but it was when he was hunting possums.
Okay. Oh, okay.
Probably not the ideal language to use here now, but
Okay.
yeah.
Okay.
But it was more along the lines of you as a super redneck,
Okay.
backwoods kind of guy.
Okay.
Yeah.
But no, I remember Aaron McGregor's the one that did it.
Yeah.
Like, and I remember like, cause I want to say it was in theater class, or either in theater class or in a theater performance. At the end of it, I think Miss Simpson brought him out and let him do the possum call just because everyone in the crowd was like, oh yeah, cause it was funny. But like, yeah. So like I stole that from Aaron McGregor. Like I never used it around him or anything. I don't think. If anything, it was for flattery, just to try to see if I could do it better than him or whatever.
Yeah.
But I remember I did it and like, when I went to college, and I did it when I worked at Sam's Club and Walmart, and that was my thing. And it was just something I stole from somebody else.
Yeah.
Because he made everybody laugh. So I wanted to do the same thing that can make everybody laugh.
Correct.
So, but I will say that all my laughs, that the students, the kids talk about like, oh, it's so silly when he laughs like that. Those aren't my real laughs. I stole them from someone else, and they're comfortable now. And I know different laughs and ways to laugh in different situations that are going to sound funnier than others. So that's why I'll do like the girly, like the Joker laugh or whatever in kid situations. And I'll like do like a very dry, like, like that's fake. You know what I mean? Like, so I've stole those from a lot of people. But anyways, so this is what I was going to say. So like, yes. I think that I think that definitely teaching is my calling. I know it is, and I know it's Melinda's as well. And this is something like that I haven't like decided to like openly come out about. And I know that like none of the kids know. But like we won't be in Hillsboro next year. We're moving to Oklahoma.
Okay.
So yeah, so we are going to we already had job interviews for a couple different districts. I was offered a job last Tuesday. We both interview at Yukon. So it's in Yukon, Oklahoma. We both interview there on Monday. And so I'm not going to get into like why and all that kind of stuff, but it's a new opportunity for us to start over,
Sure.
to start fresh,
Sure.
and to have a different lifestyle, and maybe also at the same time have opportunities that we don't have right now for the kids.
Sure.
So for Hunter, to have those opportunities that he can get different services and be around maybe more of a safe environment or just different things for him.
Sure.
But also Madison, she's going to be a freshman in high school next year.
Yep.
And, there's all kinds of stuff that she wants to try. She wants to be more into the acting thing. Yep. So like, absolutely. We're going to go to a bigger school district that has maybe some more opportunities.
Sure.
So that, and I think it was just, there's some things that like, it wasn't going to change. So, I didn't want to continue to bring, a negative, where people thought I might be negative in school because of maybe something I don't agree with. So I didn't want the kids to ever feel like that I didn't want to be there, because I do. So I just want to be able to be myself.
Sure.
And so with the dress code and with like just having a history in Hillsboro and my family and stuff like that, I wanted my own start.
Yeah. You
I
got to
want my
create
own
your own
start.
legacy. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's very hard for me because of the kids and the relationships and all that kind of stuff. And I know this is going to kind of sound heartless, but one of the things that one of my mentors, Joseph Diaz, has told me is that like the kids don't stay for the kids. And I know that sounds heartless, but don't stay for the kids, because there's always going to be kids everywhere that need you.
Absolutely.
The thing is, I love these kids.
Yeah.
And while I will love other kids somewhere else, these are still the kids that I love. And from Landon Tucker being a senior this year and being my first group of kids, to like students like Addie that I never had a chance to have in class, and her friends that I do have a chance to have in class. I love them all. And it's gonna be really hard. So I know I'm gonna like still keep in touch and stuff, like find some way.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that's so we're gonna finish the school year this year. They're gonna kill it on the STAR test, and we're gonna finish out our contracts. But yeah, so we will be, this will be our last year in Hillsboro. So yeah, man, it's a lot. We turned in our resignation letters, a week or two ago and all that kind of stuff. But I just didn't feel, I feel like that. I've had a lot of people here lately say that, oh, I can't wait till my other kid has you next year and all that kind of stuff. I feel horrible because I didn't tell those people then over the past couple weeks. And I'm tired of feeling horrible. So this is my chance to just openly say it. So
for sure.
So I'm gonna miss you, girl. I am. I'm definitely gonna miss you, and I'll miss a lot of people. I think y'all are some great kids, and you do have a lot of great teachers still in that building, and a lot of people that care about y'all. Miss Hamilton being one of them. She got Teacher of the Year today.
Yeah, I saw that.
Man,
that's awesome.
Very well deserving. She's a big part of making me a better person, the one that I am today. So anyways, a lot of great teachers there. So yeah, that's that. Big old bomb, just dropping it. But no, man, hey, I appreciate you coming on. I truly do. I think that this is probably one of the most opening, like me being able to feel free and be able to connect in a way that I haven't been able to connect with as much with other people. So I really appreciate that, man.
Yeah, I appreciate the opportunity.
Absolutely. So if it's cool, like if we just keep in touch and stuff, Facebook.
Oh,
and
always, man.
and-
You
and
got my number
texting.
for sure.
Absolutely. So maybe I'll be that guy one day that maybe wants to try working out again or something like that. I
Hey.
need some pointers.
That works.
So
Or hey, I may be moving to Oklahoma. You never know, right?
Rev
At-
opens a new factory.
Addie can go to OSU. That's it's so beautiful.
Oh
So
my
Crystal's
God.
oldest son actually graduated from OSU,
Okay.
and the campus is absolutely gorgeous, man. Stillwater's a beautiful place.
Yeah. Yeah. OSU. I used to be ignorant and say, oh, UT's number one. I never knew anything about UT other than
Yeah.
the Longhorns. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? I was this dumb. Like, I don't know if you can see it. Do you see the outline of the
Yeah,
UT,
you can
the Longhorn? So I got this covered up because I got the UT thing because I went to UTA. I went to college at University of Texas in Arlington.
Yep.
And I thought, oh, I like UT. I'm going to like A&M sucks and all this kind of stuff. I didn't know anything. I thought A&M, what, like, I truly thought that UT was full of like conservative people and all this kind of stuff. And then it's like the other way around. It's
Yeah,
like
it's all-
A&M is more of
Yeah.
the like conservative sense. And I'm just saying that was my peace of mind. That's who I thought was them. And that's who I thought was them.
Yep.
So yeah, now it's not even about that. Like it's
No.
whatever school's going to be the best thing for you. You know what I mean?
Yep.
Like what you want to go to school for, how close is it to the place you want to live?
Right.
And stuff, and what do you want to do with it? What kind of connections do you want to
Sure.
get out of it? So, I was not smart enough to see any of that. I just went to college because my parents said I had to.
Yep.
Like literally, they said I had to, and I didn't have a choice. If not, I was going to be a bum. Like, I mean, you know, I don't mean to say that they were mean,
Yeah.
but I needed that.
That was the
Like,
encouragement.
I needed
Yeah, that was
If
a
not,
tough love.
I
Yeah.
wouldn't have graduated.
Yep.
So they gave me what I needed. It just
Yep.
sounds differently to hear it nowadays.
Yeah.
So, anyways. All right, man. Well, I appreciate it. We good?
Yeah. Absolutely.
All right, well, cool. I don't know. Like, is this like we just do like a hug type? No, this. What's the bro thing? The bro thing is this and then
The
this.
bro thing is
This
this.
and then like, hold on.
Ready, set, go bananas.